As you can see, the field has made its way out onto the front straightaway here at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. Why don't we go ahead and take a look at tonight's General Tire Pole Award winner first, Daniel Hemric in that number 19 for the Bill McAnally Racing team, making a second career West start, first in that Bill McAnally Racing Chevrolet. Daniel timed in at 18.164 seconds. That's 99.097 miles per hour around the big half mile here at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. All the way back in 2019, Daniel finished second in his only other West start down at Sonoma Raceway. We'll see if he can better that by one here today. Here's the rest of today's starting lineup alongside. We talked about Tanner Reif hopping in that number 13 for Todd and Kelly Souza. He should be a strong contender here today. Kyle Keller sliding in behind the wheel of the number 71 for Jan Qualkenbush. I expect Kyle Keller to be a strong contender throughout the course of the year as well. He will start alongside Trevor Huddleston in the number 50 in row number 2. Eric Johnson Jr. sliding over to the Jerry Pitts Racing team. He will start alongside Robbie Keneally. Robbie in the second Jan's Racing Ford here today. Adrian Ferrer, today's Bounty Rookie Spotlight driver. We'll take a look at him in just a few moments. He will start fourth in the second Central Coast Racing team entry here today, alongside Spencer Davis in the Bruce Cook Steve McGowan number 42. Gavin Ray and Blake Lothian back in row number 5. Cody Dennison and David Smith rounding out our 12-car starting lineup. A little thin on the starting lineup, folks. A lot of cars still not quite ready. Been a very short off-season. We had our season finale at Phoenix Raceway back in early November, and then a quick turnaround to the finale, the spectacular finale at Irwindale Speedway in the month of December. And just a month after that, we're ready to go racing here at Kern. So we expect a lot more of these West entries as we go throughout the course of the season. Let's take a look at the track facts here at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway, located right here on the outskirts of Bakersfield, California. First race here back in 2013. Big half mile here that we're going to take on. 8 degrees of banking on the straightaways, 12 to 14 degrees in the corners. And we've had some news at the dirt track here today. All the dirt track racing in Bakersfield going to happen right here at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway throughout the course of the season. So big news for the folks here. Now there's a look at Adrian Ferrer, our Bounty Rookie Spotlight driver today. Driver the number 3 for Todd and Kelly Souza out of Getafe, Madrid, Spain. Folks, this hurts. Born in 2009. Oh, boy. Getting younger and younger. Driving for Central Coast Racing. Making his ARCA Menards Series West debut here today. No stranger to racing, though, folks. He was the GR Cup champion in his native Spain in 2024. So I expect we're going to see a lot of competitiveness out of that number 3 throughout the course of tonight's race and throughout the course of 2025 as well. Engines have started. We will roll off the grid for a handful of warm-up laps before we get set to go racing here tonight. Here is what it's going to take to go to victory lane here tonight at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. First and foremost, we're going 150 laps straight through. No scheduled pit stops tonight, folks. So we're going to have to manage the tires to get to victory lane. Don't want to abuse them too early. Want to have enough left to race hard in the second half. Second, straightaways here at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. Long straightaways. Gonna want to handle down the straightaway. It's Buddy Baker's birthday. It would have been Buddy Baker's, I believe, 84th birthday today. And Buddy Baker loved to talk about handling down the straightaway. You want to be able to get that horsepower down. And that is going to be key here at Kern, down these long straightaways. And the final key to victory, even though those turns are 70 feet wide, You're really only going to want to use about the bottom 10 to 15 feet of it, particularly right along the white line. You're going to want to get that car to the bottom of the racetrack. The driver that can manage tires, get down the straightaways, and get to the bottom in the corner is going to have a real good shot at going to victory lane here today. Once again, 150 laps the distance, no scheduled cautions, no midway break here today. Teams do have 4 tires available to them in the pits, but those are the tires that they used in practice earlier today. Any tire changes will be on an emergency basis only, will have to be approved by an ARCA official. And folks, if we do need to go into overtime today, unlimited attempts at green, followed by white, followed by checkered finishes. If the white flag is displayed and the yellow flag is then displayed, we will have unlimited attempts at a green and white together, followed by checkered flag finish. Tonight's race, the 1029th in West Series history, the 16th West race here at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. Last year, we saw both Cole Raz, who won in a fantastic photo finish over Trevor Huddleston, and eventual series champion Sean Hingorani. Both went to victory lane here at Kern. No previous winner at Kern Raceway in tonight's starting lineup. Daniel Hemric, Tanner Reif up on the front row. Kyle Keller, Trevor Huddleston back in row 2. Eric Johnson Jr., reigning Bounty Rookie of the Year, inside row 3. Pace car down to the infield. Daniel Hemric leading him off at turn 4, and for the first time in 2025, it is time to rock, roll, and rumble here in Bakersfield. Hemric with the jump, but Tanner Reif going to try to roll the momentum off the top side. He's going to stick the nose ahead down into turn 3. Side by side for the lead here on lap 1. Who's it going to be? Tanner Reif going to lead the first lap of 2025. Trevor Huddleston going to follow him through, and he's going to grab second. Daniel Hemric dropping to third in the number 19. Tremendous start by Tanner Reif in the number 13. Huddleston putting some pressure on Tanner Reif here in the early going. And they have opened up a little bit of a gap there on Daniel Hemric in third. I'll tell you what, Tanner Reif made a couple of starts early in 2024. Did not have the type of luck he was looking for. Made a couple of starts for Bruce Cook and Steve McGowan. And took the rest of the year off. He said, you know what, I need to just kind of regroup and get my mind back in the game, and picked up the number 13 ride after his brother Tyler stepped out to go race in the ARCA Menards Series East. And right now, Tanner Reif with an impressive start. And he has jumped out to the lead with Trevor Huddleston inches off of the back bumper. When we see these cars go down the front straightaway here off into turn 1, look at Huddleston now trying to make his way to the inside down the front stretch. Tanner Reif going to open the door a little early to be driving really defensively. So Tanner Reif going to open the door and let Trevor Huddleston dive on through. First lead change of 2025 coming as we complete lap number 7. And there's another battle for position. Daniel Hemric going to give up another spot on the racetrack. Kyle Keller in the Jan's Towing, number 71, to the inside of Daniel Hemric. It's been the Daniel Hemric show all weekend. He was strong yesterday in the pre-race practice we had yesterday. He was strong in practice today. Obviously started from the pole. Right now, Hemric dropping 3 positions here right off the bat, sitting in 4th, and he's got Eric Johnson Jr. in that number 5 car. Starting to look a little racy. All right, Tanner Reif in the 13 has given up a little bit of ground on the racetrack. He has come back to 3rd. Kyle Keller in the 71. There's Daniel Hemric in the 19. Eric Johnson Jr. in the 5. There's Adrian Ferrer, our Bonnie Rookie Spotlight driver, in the number 3. And Spencer Davis and Bruce Cook's number 42. All in a line. Robbie Keneally in the number 9 car, tagging onto the back of that line as well. Trevor Huddleston driving off. He's got about a 1-second lead over Tanner Reif in 2nd. Do see a little bit of smoke. We noticed it early in the race. You really only see it when he's driving into the sun. Know that that's going to be a major issue. We do see that oftentimes from some of these race cars as they head off into the sun. But we'll keep an eye on that. Trevor Huddleston potentially with an issue on that number 50 car. And how racy has it been here in the early going? Well, look at this. Daniel Hemric dropping outside of the top 5. He's going to give up 7th to Spencer Davis. As we see Adrian Ferrer to the inside of Eric Johnson Jr. in the 5 car. This is the battle for 4th on the racetrack. Adrian Ferrer in the number 3. We talked about he's already got a lot of experience at just 16 years of age. A championship winning driver in his native Spain. He has climbed aboard one of the more potent race cars in the ARCA Menards Series West, and he is charged all the way up into the top 5. And look at that, folks. Look at the left rear tire on the Eric Johnson Jr. car. The white lettering on that General Tire already been rubbed off. We've seen some physical racing here in the early going. Just 15 laps into it here at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. There's the gap between 1st and 2nd. Had been about 1 second. Now Tanner Reif closing it in to about 0.7 of a second on the racetrack. But I'll tell you what, Kyle Keller in that 71, Kyle, he would love to get up there and get past Tanner Reif and chase down Trevor Huddleston. Was a somewhat of an elevator season for Kyle Keller last year. Some weeks were really good, some weeks not so good. He made the move over into the 71 with team owner Jan Qualkenbush, and look at that, Tanner Reif sliding up the racetrack just a little bit. Can Kyle Keller capitalize down into turn 1? He's got the nose alongside, but Reif been able to make that top lane work in that number 13 car, at least here in the early going. Tanner Reif going to hold on to 2nd as the Central Coast racing teams have themselves a Kyle Keller sandwich going now down into turn 1. There's a good look at those cars diving off into turn 3. Look at that. Kyle Keller keeping those left side tires down on that white line. Can he make it work this time down into turn 1? Tanner Reif able to put the power down. He's able to handle down their straightaway, just like Buddy Baker would have said. But as they're running side by side, here comes Adrian Ferrer in the number 3. And we have got a 3-car battle for 2nd. Good racing here in the early going at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. course, Kevin, the 1998 ARCA Menards Series West champion. Back then driving for longtime team owners Wayne and Connie Spears. There's Adrian Ferrer going to dive off into turn 3 to the inside of Kyle Keller. Let's see if Adrian can make the bottom lane of the racetrack work. So far, those drivers up in the top lane able to keep that momentum up. Again, progressive banking here at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. 12 degrees on the bottom, 14 degrees a little higher up the racetrack. The driver's able to use that. I don't want to call it the top lane because there's certainly not the top side of the racetrack, but perhaps we'll call it the middle lane of the racetrack. They're able to use that middle groove to their advantage and keep their momentum up just a little bit. And we are going to keep Tanner Reif in second, Kyle Keller holding on to third, Adrian Ferrer in fourth. There's Eric Johnson Jr. to the inside of Adrian Ferrer. Almost a little contact there. You know, we made mention of the lettering being rubbed off the left rear tire there of Eric Johnson Jr.'s number 5. There's a good shot of that as he dives off into turn 3. If you take a look at the right front tire of the number 3 car, you will also notice the lettering rubbed off of that tire as well. I think we know where that contact came from. I think we can safely say Adrian Ferrer and Eric Johnson Jr. might have made a little bit of contact there. As the battle for second, third, fourth, and fifth continues. And there is the guy they're still all trying to track down. Trevor Huddleston comfortably out in front of the field, about 0.8 of a second over Tanner Reif as we come to complete lap 30. Already a fifth of the way home here in the West Coast Stock Car Motorsports Hall of Fame 150. And look at that power move. Adrian Ferrer in the number 3, going to dive it off down into turn 1. He's going to take second from Kyle Keller. And I thought for a second he was going to try to take, actually he's going to take third. I thought he was going to try to take second from Tanner Reif, his teammate there. Keller not wanting to give it up without a fight, though. Look at that. He is going to come back to the outside. I think there may have been a little contact there down the backstretch, and I think Kyle just kind of rolled out of the throttle there. But that move by Adrian Ferrer, good candidate for tonight's Reese's Sweet Move of the race. Power move by that young man to take over third on the racetrack. Don't forget, folks, you can log on to arcaracing.com Monday afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern time, to see who we have selected as tonight's Reese's Sweet Move of the race winner. And there's the guy they're all trying to track down right now. That battle for second, third, fourth, and fifth. Still about 0.9 of a second behind Trevor Huddleston. And this is what Trevor did here last year. He really had that car hooked up in the early going. And then found himself locked in a tight battle with Cole Raz down to the finish line. Let's see what happens here. Adrian Ferrer a little loose off of turn 2. But he is looking inside of his teammate, the 2 Central Coast Racing Team cars going side by side. Adrian Ferrer, tonight's Bounty Rookie Spotlight driver in his series debut, moving up into second. Can Kyle Keller now follow him through? Keller in the 71. He has been alongside Tanner Reif multiple times. See if he can make it stick. Spotter calling him clear. He is going to move into the third position. So Tanner Reif back to fourth. And I'll tell you what, they look good in practice. They look good in qualifying. But right now, it's not going so good for the drivers who started up on the front row. Our General Tire pole sitter, Daniel Hemric, back in 8th. And right now, Tanner Reif sitting back in 4th. We talked about that great battle for the win here last year. Absolute photo finish on the final lap. Trevor Huddleston losing out by just 0.05 of a second to Cole Raz. Cole, and there's a good look at Trevor Huddleston, who has now opened up another couple of car lengths on that battle behind him. 1 second even at the line last time by, but Cole Raz, who went to victory lane here last year, did it in that number 5 car that Eric Johnson Jr. is piloting here today. So no surprise, Eric Johnson Jr. looking really strong here in the early going. Battle on now for second. Here is Kyle Keller to the inside. He's got it at the stripe. Can he make it stick down into turn 1? And look at that. That's 71 car. Driven by Kyle Keller. He's going to make a power move and take over the 2nd position. And I'll tell you what, folks, we saw that car last year with Nick Janitis at the wheel. That car was very strong on numerous occasions. So it should come as no surprise that Kyle Keller looking strong here in the early going. And Nick Janitis, he had some health problems there towards the end of 2024. He's at home watching. Nick, hope you're doing well, pal. We look forward to having you back at the racetrack with us very soon. And no sooner than does Kyle Keller take over that 2nd position, but now he's starting to reel in our leader. I think he has set the hook, and here he comes. Kyle Keller already knocked off 1/4 of a second off of the lead. Was over 1 second, now under 3/4 of a second. 0.6 of a second last time by. Kyle Keller with a big head of steam as he starts to chase down Trevor Huddleston. Still see that smoke coming out of the right side of the number 50. Still 10 cars on the lead lap. We did see David Smith in the 05 go a lap down just a few moments ago. Blake Lothian in the number 51 also a lap down to our lead lap automobiles. Let's check in with Daniel Hemric in the number 19. There you saw Daniel fighting with Gavin Ray, battling for 8th and 9th on the racetrack. And it has not been the day that Daniel Hemric and that Bill McAnally racing team have been looking for. Of course, Daniel going to chase checkered flags in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series for the Hilgeman McAnally racing team. And I don't think this will be the only time we see Daniel Hemric in this number 19 car here throughout the course of 2025. Gavin Ray in that number 7 car. 2nd car entered by Jerry Pitts Racing. Looking pretty solid. Look at him diving off to the inside. Gavin Ray in his ARCA Menards Series West debut, passing a former NASCAR Xfinity Series champion. Big day for Gavin Ray as we now have 50 laps in the books, 1/3 of the way home here at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. So that gap at the front of the field, we saw Kyle Keller on the charge. He had knocked it down to about 0.6 of a second. Well, Huddleston has answered and has driven back up to about 3/4 of a second, the gap at the front of the field. So Huddleston, don't know if he is just kind of keeping an eye on that rear view mirror, but it does seem like any time someone wants to mount a challenge, he's able to kind of squeeze a little extra juice out of that number 50 car as we see the battle on now for 4th and 5th. Tanner Reif in the 13. Eric Johnson Jr. in that number 5. Of course, Eric, the reigning Bounty Rookie of the Year in the ARCA Menards Series West, had a real solid season in 2024. Started all 12 races last year out of the Bill McAnally Racing stables. Picked up a career best finish of 4th at Madera Speedway. And they're looking to match that or even better it here tonight. Again, that is the car Cole Raz was in when he went to Victory Lane here last year, as we see the gap up at the front of the field. Just like he's done throughout the course of the night, he saw that 71 car coming, so Trevor Huddleston able to squeeze out a little more, and he has driven it up now 1.25 seconds, the gap between Trevor Huddleston and Kyle Keller up at the front of the field. There's a good look at the number 50 Race Car Factory Ford out of the High Point Racing stables. Of course, Trevor's dad, Tim Huddleston, the track operator here at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. He bought out the assets from Bob Brincati's Sunrise Racing team, and that's kind of carried on that tradition. Saw Bob at the 2 ARCA Menards Series West races out at Irwindale Speedway in 2024. There's a good look at Adrian Ferrer to the outside of Cody Dennison there in turns 3 and 4. Adrian holding on to the 3rd position. Why don't we take a look through the field here, as it seems like it's got a good long green flag run feel to it, folks. So we'll take a look through the field. There is our leader, Trevor Huddleston. He is 1.1 seconds ahead of Kyle Keller in the 2nd spot. Trevor, of course, looking for his 6th career ARCA Menards Series West win and his 1st career victory here at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. Looking to the inside of Blake Lothian down into turn 1. Going to put Blake another lap off the pace. There is Kyle Keller holding on to the 2nd position. Kyle in one of 2 Jan's Racing entries here today. Kyle looking to start the season off on the right foot. He had a pretty solid season last year, including 3 consecutive 5th place finishes at Shasta, Tri-City, and Madera Speedway. Looking for his best career finish here tonight in that number 71. There is our Bounty Rookie Spotlight driver tonight, Adrian Ferrer in the number 3. Making his ARCA Menards Series West debut, his official debut. He did run for this team in the Swan Song, the unofficial exhibition race for the ARCA Menards West at Irwindale Speedway back about 6 weeks ago. Looking really strong. 3rd here as we approach halfway in his ARCA Menards Series debut. Good run here to start for the 2024 GR Cup champion in his native Spain. His teammate Tyler Reif, those cars look awfully similar. Tanner Reif, I should say, holding on to the 4th position. At least for now, Eric Johnson Jr. looking pretty racy in that number 5 car, but Tanner Reif making his return to the ARCA Menards Series West. Picked up a couple of victories, including a win in the 1,000th ARCA Menards Series West race back in the summer of 2022. That event up at Evergreen Speedway. Good to have Tanner Reif back with us, and he is sitting back in the 4th position as he looks to the inside of Cody Dennison in the number 72 car. There's Eric Johnson Jr. We've talked about the reigning Bounty Rookie of the Year. Eric Johnson Jr. looking to get up there and better that 4th place finish he had at Madera Speedway, his best career finish in the West Series to this point. Eric going to chase the championship in 2025 out of the Jerry Pitts Racing stable. There's Robbie Keneally in the number 9, the 2nd Jan's Towing entry here tonight for Team Owner Jan Quackenbush. Had a real nice visit with Jan last year at Irwindale Speedway, showing off the race hauler that carries these two cars to the racetrack each and every week, a former Team Penske hauler. And I'll tell you what, folks, might not look like it on the outside, but it is identical to the way it was when it was a part of the Penske fleet back before Jan bought it. Here's Spencer Davis in the number 42. Spencer making an infrequent visit to the ARCA Menards Series West. Picked up an 11th place finish here at Kern County, or excuse me, I'm going to keep doing it, folks. I'm going to keep doing it, but I'm going to keep checking myself. Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. Of course, Spencer driving for team owners Bruce Cook and Steve McGowan. This is the team that won the ARCA Menards Series West Owners Championship back in 2023 with Landon Lewis and Caden Honeycutt. There's Gavin Ray in the number 7, the second of the two Jerry Pitts Racing entries. Of course, we have seen Takuma Koga in the number 7 car throughout the course of the last couple of seasons. Did see Takuma not entered here tonight, but he will be starting his season at the Daytona International Speedway. He is entered in the ARCA Menards Series season opener coming up here in just a couple of weeks. There's Cody Dennison in the 72 car. Talking about ARCA Menards Series regulars, there's Cody Dennison. Well, we have approached the halfway point here at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. Actually, we will be coming to halfway as the leader completes lap 75 next time around. If you're just joining us, Daniel Hemric started up on the pole, but gave up the lead to that guy, the number 13 of Tanner Reif, right at the drop of the green. Tanner was able to hold on to the lead for a handful of laps before Trevor Huddleston took over to complete lap 7. And from there, that's what we've seen pretty much every lap since. We have seen a great battle back in the pack for second, third, fourth, fifth, and back. But right now, Trevor Huddleston, it's like he's in line at Burger King, folks. He is having it his way. 1 second ahead of Kyle Keller in second. Adrian Ferrer holding on to third. This is the battle for fourth, fifth, and sixth on the racetrack. Tanner Reif in the 13. Eric Johnson Jr. and Robbie Keneally in the number 9 battling for that position. Right now, this is the best battle on the racetrack. Robbie Keneally in the number 9, taking over the second of the two Jan's Racing entries here in 2025. And the Keneally family, boy, they had a tough 2024 as well. Harley, Robbie's father, passed away towards the end of the 2024 season. They were going to chase the full season, but of course, with some of the family issues and some funding issues, not able to run each and every race, but they did put themselves in position to take over what is a very competitive race car. And right now, Robbie Keneally looking strong here in the early going. Of course, Robbie made his West debut at Irwindale Speedway back in 2023. Started 13th that day and drove through the field. I remember that race. Late in the race, man, he had that car down on the white line and was picking off cars. Seemed like every lap. Drove to a 5th place finish in his West Series debut. And right now looking to match that finish. Just needs to get past Eric Johnson Jr. to take over that 5th spot. And Robbie Keneally will match his best career finish here tonight. Still a long way to go. Still 68 laps to go here in the West Coast Stock Car Motorsports Hall of Fame. And still a lot of racing yet to go here today on Flow Racing. I know a lot of people tuning in for the Cars Tour West races that are here at the racetrack today. The super late model race yet to come. Kevin Harvick going to race at the racetrack that carries his name. Beautiful looking number 29 HemricCars.com Chevrolet. Good to have Kevin with us at the racetrack today. There's the battle for 5th and 6th. Tanner Reif able to give himself a couple of car lengths of breathing room here as Robbie Keneally starting to put some pressure on Eric Johnson Jr. And we haven't seen Trevor Huddleston in a while. Trevor comfortably up at the front of the field, just under a 1 second advantage as he works his way past Cody Dennison in the 72 car. Of course, Cody a regular in the ARCA Menards series. One of the Bounty rookie contenders last year. We'll be back with team owner Andy Hillenberg for a full charge at the 2025 ARCA Championship. And check this out, folks. Trevor Huddleston in the number 50, closing in on tonight's General Tire Pole Award winner. The next car on the racetrack directly in front, and we'll see him here as we roll through turn 4. There he is, Daniel Hemric. That number 19 car not handling the way Daniel Hemric needed it to here tonight. And with a lack of caution flags, he has not been able to come down and make any adjustments to it. So Daniel Hemric struggling to stay on the lead lap as Trevor Huddleston on the charge. And look at this, a couple of lap cars right here as the battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th catches David Smith and Blake Lothian, and everybody scrambling. And that move right there by Tanner Reif in the 13, that could be a contender for tonight's Reese's Sweet Move of the race. Wow, they caught that couple of lapped cars and everybody scrambled. Tanner Reif looks like he made a hard left coming off of turn 4. Don't forget, folks, you can log on to arcaracing.com Monday, 3 o'clock Eastern time to see who is crowned tonight's Reese's Sweet Move of the race winner. It's got to be frustrating for Kyle Keller in the 71. He knows he's got himself a good race car, but every time he gets up on the horse and thinks he's going to chase down Trevor Huddleston, Huddleston seems to be able to answer it every single time. It was down to 3/4 of a second just a few laps ago, and now back up to a 1 second lead. Trevor Huddleston, an absolutely dominant performance in that number 50 car. And he had a couple of dominant performances last year in that number 50, and we'll talk about those here in just a couple of moments. We're going to check in with the driver currently sitting in 3rd in the number 3, Adrian Ferrer, our Bounty Rookie Spotlight driver here tonight. Adrian has cleared all of that chaos behind him and has settled into that 3rd position. He is about a half a lap behind the lead, but he does have a couple of seconds in hand over his teammate Tanner Reif and Eric Johnson as they battle for 4th and 5th. But what a great performance tonight by Adrian Ferrer in the number 3. You know, I talked to team owners Todd and Kelly Souza towards the end of 2024, and they were very disappointed. Oh, look at this, off the pace, Spencer Davis. We'll get back to that story in just a moment, but the caution going to come out for the first time here tonight. Going to bunch everybody up, and it is a bad break for Spencer Davis in the 42, and he's going to bring that car down into the work area. Bruce Cook, Sean Samuels, and the guys going to go to work. There's Sean to the left rear. Going to pop the hood. Whatever that is, folks, not good. Spencer Davis was sitting in the 9th position. And his misfortunes do put us under the caution flag for the first time today. This is not how Daniel Hemric wanted to see the caution flag come out. Of course, you never hoping your competitors have any type of bad luck. But this does save Daniel Hemric from going a lap down. With that car up on the jack, they have put the hood down, and Sean Samuels continues to look to the front of that left rear wheel well. That is where the battery is on these race cars, folks. I bet you they're going to pull that left rear tire off and maybe make a battery change. And check this out. Trevor Huddleston electing to restart from the top side of the racetrack. No choose rule in the ARCA Menards series. Only the leader gets to choose which lane he would like to restart from. Trevor Huddleston electing the top side here as we come back to green. With 45 laps to go, Trevor Huddleston on the hammer. Let's see what happens here as we race off down into turn 1. Tanner Reif in the 13 with a great restart. He's going to take over third, putting some pressure on Kyle Keller in the 71. And Adrian Ferrer not getting a good restart. He has given up a couple of positions. About to give up another one. Eric Johnson Jr. to the inside. Here comes Daniel Hemric. So Ferrer, who had raced his way up as high as third, now looks like he may drop all the way to the tail end of the lead lap. Tough break, tough restart there for Adrian Ferrer in the number 3. Hemric has gained a couple of positions on this restart. Restarted 8th, now up to 6th. And look at that, here comes Hemric to the inside. Daniel Hemric trying to march his way back up into the top 5. Give it to him. Hemric up to 5th in the number 19. No surprise on that restart. Smooth as silk for Trevor Huddleston. He has held on to that lead and has opened it back up. 3/4 of a second the advantage over Kyle Keller, who himself had a really solid restart there. With all that chaos going on behind him, Kyle Keller doing a good job to hold on to second. Tanner Reif now in third, and they have gapped by about a second that battle for 4th and 5th. And this is that battle right here. Robbie Keneally in the number 9. Daniel Hemric in the 19. Hemric trying to mount a charge after dropping to the tail of the field after starting from the pole. And look at that, here comes the 19 car. Daniel Hemric to the inside of Robbie Keneally. Battle for 4th. Boy, you talk about a Cinderella story. Daniel Hemric on the charge here in the final third at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. You know, it wouldn't surprise me, as savvy as he is with a lot of the big league racing experience that he has, Daniel Hemric could be sly like a fox here tonight, folks. Just getting the update been saving tires this whole time. That caution flag was exactly what Daniel Hemric was looking for. And if you remember, one of the keys to the race here tonight, the first key to the race, 150 laps on the same set of tires, you were going to need to conserve those racing tires. And Daniel Hemric, look at this, folks. He is reeling them in as he gets to him. Hemric on the charge in the number 19. The update from the team, he is feeling good. Let's see if he has got enough time to chase down Tanner Reif, Kyle Keller, and Trevor Huddleston. Hemric has left this battle. That was the battle for 5th between Eric Johnson Jr. and Robbie Keneally. And I don't know, if I'm Trevor Huddleston, I am going to try to squeeze as much juice out of that lemon as I can right now, because he has got a couple of cars coming behind him. Huddleston, we talked about this race last year, losing in a final lap photo finish to Cole Raz, 5/100ths of a second. Boy, just a heartbreaking loss. But then coming back later in the season, a couple of extremely dominant performances at Madera Speedway, All-American Speedway. Trevor led 145 laps at Madera. He led every lap at Roseville. And he did finish 3rd here in the fall last October. And that race last year at All-American Speedway, caution-free. Led all 150 laps in a caution-free race. Trevor Huddleston, only one caution so far here tonight. He hasn't led every lap, but he's led just about every lap. And he's got 28 more to go. And if he can do it, would be his 6th career ARCA Menards Series West victory. And look at this, you see it off in the distance. Daniel Hemric to the inside of the racetrack, to the inside of David Smith in the 05. Now he's to the inside of Tanner Reif. Battle on for 3rd. Hemric's got less than 30 laps to get to the front. The battle on for 3rd. Reif not going to give it up without a fight. It has been since 2022 at All-American Speedway with Cole Moore that Bill McAnally Racing has gone to victory lane in the ARCA Menards Series West. Daniel Hemric looking to end that victory drought here tonight. And he has got just 25 laps to chase down Kyle Keller and Trevor Huddleston. He is 2.5 seconds behind Trevor Huddleston. Does he have enough time to get to the front? There's Blake Lothian in the 51. Blake in the 10th position. Some smoke coming from that car. I believe he is heading to the pits. Stick with us, folks. Kevin Harvick in the Cars Tour West Super Late Model. Coming up next, right after the conclusion of the West Coast Stock Car Motorsports Hall of Fame. First, we got to see who goes to victory lane in the ARCA Menards Series West season opener. Right now, Trevor Huddleston with the lead, and that lead has been cut to 3/4 of a second. Kyle Keller, has he set the hook? Can he reel him in? Every time we think he's gonna, Huddleston seems to find a way to stretch it back out. Also keeping an eye on Daniel Hemric. It was 2.5 seconds 4 laps ago. Now it's 2.3 seconds. So he has gained 0.2 of a second in 4 laps. Does he have enough time to get there? Do see some slower cars, some potential lap traffic directly in front of the leader. How is that going to impact Hemric's charge towards the front? There's David Smith in the 0-5. He's going to give the leaders plenty of room down into turns 3 and 4. Cody Dennison a little sideways there in the 72. Here's Hemric. 2.2 seconds. Does he have enough time to get there? 19 laps to go for the driver of the number 19. He may need one more caution flag, one more restart to make it happen here tonight. Huddleston off at turn 4. Again, 0.6 of a second, the gap between he and Kyle Keller. Hemric now at 2 seconds even with 17 laps to go. He's almost there, folks. Close enough to see him. Boy, if I am sitting in the cockpit of that number 19, I'm really hoping a piece of debris magically finds its way out onto the racetrack and we get one more caution, one more restart, one more chance. Now 1.9 seconds back. He's picking up about 1/10 of a second per lap, but we only have 15 laps to go. And he's got to find his way past Kyle Keller, who's not going to want to give it up without a fight. There's Adrian Ferrer in the number 3. Adrian going a lap down, back in the 8th position. Been a really good, solid performance by that young man in his ARCA Menards Series West debut. And here comes Daniel Hemric. He has just about caught Kyle Keller. 1.6 seconds, the difference between Hemric and Huddleston. Now under 1.5 seconds. Hemric on the charge, 12 laps remaining. We knew it was going to be important to conserve tires. Hemric has apparently done a very nice job of keeping the tires underneath that number 19 car. The question is, does he have enough time? Is he going to make the dive to the inside? A little contact there between the 19 and the 0-5. David Smith trying to stay out of the way. May have made a little contact with the right side of the Hemric car. All right, 1.3 seconds now the gap. Make it 1.1 seconds with 9 laps remaining. He's going to have to pick up a little more than 1/10.5 per lap. Can he do it? Kyle Keller starting to chase down Trevor Huddleston as well. Huddleston looking for redemption after losing in a photo finish here last year. He has been the dominant car. He has led the last 135 laps, and now within sight of the checkered flag, here comes Kyle Keller and Daniel Hemric. Kyle Keller now half a second back. Daniel Hemric now 1 second back. They are there. There is the gap. Kyle Keller now 0.4 of a second. See what it is here. 4 to go. Now 0.3 of a second. Keller has reeled in Trevor Huddleston with 5 laps remaining. Hemric is there as well. Huddleston up the racetrack. Here comes Kyle Keller. 4 to go this time by. Battle on for the lead. Just 1.5 car lengths the difference as we come to 3 to go. Hemric off the pace. Oh no, what has gone wrong with the number 19? That could be a flat tire. That could be from that rub he had with David Smith. Hemric is out of it. Battle on now for the win. Kyle Keller in the 71 is there. Coming to 2 to go this time. Huddleston's up the racetrack. Keller to the inside. What is Kyle Keller going to do here? Final time. Excuse me, not quite the final time. It will be the final time. Next time by, we will be looking at the white flag this time around. Huddleston is loose off of turn 4. Here comes Kyle Keller to the inside. Slow traffic ahead. Who's it going to be? He's going to muscle his way to the inside of Huddleston. Huddleston not going to give it up. Huddleston holding the lead into turn 3. Keller to the bottom. It's going to be another photo finish. Coming to the flag. Keller is sideways. Trevor Huddleston going to hold on and win it. Redemption for Trevor Huddleston after losing a last lap photo finish in 2024. Huddleston withholds the charge, and he will go to victory lane and celebrate here at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway.
And this is the part where all you can do is...
What an incredible charge. What an incredible last lap move there by Kyle Keller. Boy, folks, this is one of those times where you almost wish you could have 2 drivers down in victory lane because both of them put on winning performances on that final lap. I thought Kyle Keller, with that power move down into turn 1, was going to take it, but that move off of turn 2, Huddleston did not give it up, and there he is celebrating. He's out of the race car, and I have a feeling we were about to hear an epic victory lane interview from his dad, Tim. We're going to send it trackside.
What was that, Keller and you? Jan Towing, I love you, Jan. This is what you and I talked about, buddy, this night right here. The King of Irwindale finds a new home at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway, dude. Last year, you thought we were going to be here until the last lap. Here you are in victory lane. That was unbelievable, dude. Congrats.
Thank you so much. Thanks to all the fans for coming out. This is what we wanted, this nice, beautiful weather. I know it didn't start that way, but thank you guys. We do this for you. So we're going to have a lot of racing out here this year. Going to do a lot of exciting things. Definitely just want to say hats off to Kyle Keller over here. I mean, that's how you race a race. He ran it perfect, and he didn't use me up at all. He was going for that win, and he just got unlucky that car was there. I saw that in my mirror or my windshield, and I knew I had to do what I had to do, and he did a great job. Race Car Factory, High Point Racing, my entire family. I'm out of breath. Man, Kevin Harvick, just everybody who makes this thing possible. Wow. We haven't done much at the beginning of the year, so to get this down is pretty exciting. Thanks to everybody who helps me out, my brother, my sister, my mom, my dad. Robert Yates Racing for hooking us up with the bad bullet. We're the only one with this engine in it, so we had to get her done. But my whole family, Jeff Schrader, Andy Partridge, Shay, Brian Schrader. Wow. Who else am I forgetting? All the Spears people. This man right here making it happen. Wow. Thanks, everybody.
Well, Trevor, that was I remember when we came here opening night, the very first night this place was existence in 2013. You remember that? It was in a blue car. Cole Custer was driving. I happened to be spotting on the radio. And when he took the lead, I said, pull the pin and set sail, baby. And that's what you did tonight, brother.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm pretty sure my crew chief, Jeff Schrader, was a little mad at me. He thought I was pushing it a little too hard, but he kept me calm. Will Kozak, somewhere up there. I don't know. He might be already down. But it was all them. They made it happen today.
Call in the dogs, put out the fire, because that was a first-class wood chipping blank whooping, boys. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner tonight, Trevor Huddleston. Getting it done here in Victory Lane. Unbelievable. Where's my man Kyle Keller in the house, dude? I am so happy for Jan, dude. You have no idea. Jan and I talked about this, quasi team deal, working together, going on the road, and putting race car drivers in his car. You are going to get that man his first win.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was wreck Trevor or race him clean. We could have had a good photo finish there, and then I got behind the lap car, and I'm like, man, I probably just got to take a right here. So I took a right, tried to put it in the middle, but it was either I stuff him in the fence or we just try to dog it to the end. And I decided to dog it to the end. So I'm never going to race Trevor dirty. We've always raced clean, and I'm glad that you guys got the win, and we're going to race good all year against each other. But thank you, Jan's Towing, Jan's Racing, my whole team for giving me this opportunity, Driven Sunglasses, Battleborn Racing, Swift Springs, just everybody that makes this possible. We're going to get Jan his first win, like you said, and hopefully it comes at Phoenix. If not, we got 10 more after that.
Well, let me tell you, Kyle, so many things going through my head right now, and what I really want to do right now is take the opportunity to thank Ron Drager and all the folks at ARCA Menards Series, because when we went to them with the idea of taking the first race of the year from Phoenix and bringing it here from Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway, a lot of people had to agree upon that. And I'm telling you right now, that was the best move we could ever do, because this is the West Series, and we need to start it here with West guys, and you, sir, are going to be a phenomenal championship contender with that guy this year.
Thank you, guys, and thank you for all the fans coming out. Hope that was a good race, and hope we can get in victory lane at the next race.
All right, see you later. Congrats. Over here, dude. What's that? Where am I? Oh, Trev, yo, what you got?
I know you hate when I do this, but I got to definitely thank my fiance. She's the one who kept us fed all weekend long, and her mom. And I want to thank Andy, Caitlin, and Bryce watching at home. Sorry.
All right, that's it. He proposed last time, so it's all good. All right, Tanner Reif, dude. Hey, dude, last night you took a trophy for your brother for his legend win. Tonight, you stepped right up, and here you are on the podium in his old car. So happy to have you back in the West Series, dude. You're a phenomenal driver. We're lucky to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And, I want to thank my mom, my dad, my grandpa, grandma. They help so much, and they support us, and they love what we race, and, they do everything they can to help us out. And, that was a really fun race. I come here for fun. I came here to prove, I'm a decent driver. I can wheel a race car, and, it was really, really, really fun. I'm really happy that, Kyle was able to get second, Huddleston was able to get the win. But, I really, really want to thank the team, CCR. They worked really hard all weekend and did everything they could to make us the fastest we could be. We got a little bit of long run speed to work on, and I was trying to save up some tire there, not let too many people go by. Man, Keller went by me, and I was like, man, that looks like a really good race car. I was like, man, he's going to burn it up. It's all right. And he was able to stick to the end, so that was really cool.